And we say good morning to Crisis Communications analyst Chrysta Castañeda this morning on Memphis Morning News. Chrysta, thank you for joining us in Memphis with Karen and Tim. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Chrysta, I would have thought until your topic this morning that if I placed an ad online that I got to pick where it went, whether it was on a particular page or before a particular video on YouTube, and I am learning that is not the case.
That is not the case. You buy an ad and Google places it where it will. You tell them how many clicks you want and, generally some information about your business and that's kind of how it works. Now, they're getting more sophisticated on both sides, and I think that's not going to be true for a whole lot longer, but it's been pretty indiscriminate.
Worst case that we've seen in the last little while, Chrysta, what would you say?
Well, the problem is the current crisis for Google is that, AT&T, for example, or other major companies are finding that their content might appear against some offensive video or offensive site, including things like ISIS videos and anti-Semitic and other racist types of content, and that's just not appropriate for those advertisers, and they're alarmed about it, so they're pulling all their ad buys from Google.
So you're saying a ChickfilA ad juxtaposed to maybe some people getting their heads chopped off by ISIS, probably not good PR?
Well, I'm sure that ChickfilA would really rather prefer that not happen.
Yeah.
Yes, that is not good PR. That's something that, and that's why you see these, drastic reactions, which is we're pulling it all until you figure it out, Google. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. I do something just simply looking at a video maybe on YouTube, and I often am surprised at what ad sometimes plays before a video. I thought, oh, well, I'm surprised they like this kind of music or whatever. But again, I thought maybe they had some say they could pick whatever kind of genre. And I'm not listening to crazy music, but it might be a little more rocking than I thought whatever ad might go with it in front of. And that's a much more mild example of what you're talking about.
But it's a perfect example of what the problem is you as the viewer immediately attribute the company with the content of the video.
Now, is this, Chrysta, is this a case of where you're having to now really team up with the marketing department in advance and try to have them make sure, think that extra step, on things like this? Because as the web and digital continues to expand exponentially, it just seems like there's opportunities for things to be great, and then stuff like this can pop up that we wouldn't have imagined 2 years ago.
Well, and one thing that's always true of crisis communications is there's always the next crisis.
Right.
And the next crisis is different than the prior crisis. So, yes, I'm sure the companies across the world are adapting to this new threat to their business model and their goodwill with the public.
On a much lighter note, I know that you work with companies all over the place. I would like for you to tell those companies that one thing they can do to endear themselves, if they have an online presence, to people that use their website is to please, for the love of everything, stop the autoplay feature. I want to go to a website and not have audio instantly play at the volume of 11. And nothing makes me madder, and it makes me go into crisis mode and never want to go to their website again. And I'm serious.
I don't think that you're alone in that. I think we've all experienced, the video playing in the middle of it. You're sitting in a doctor's office or something, and suddenly everybody's eyes are on you. Yeah. That's a problem.
Well, so I want you to pass that along to all the companies you work with and tell them they will endear themselves. And that's nothing compared to what we're talking about, I know, but simply, things that we see online. And we talk about just little things like advertising online, all of these people, whether it's before a video or not. What they are able to do is pretty interesting. When I search something online and suddenly ads start popping up on Facebook, I get that. But I've been often disturbed when I say something out loud or I've been to a store and suddenly put nothing in my phone, and suddenly then I'm getting ads for those companies. They're getting pretty slick in all of that.
They are. You are exactly right. I mean, it's a new frontier every day. The world is constantly changing, and the power of these search engines is pretty amazing, and that's why advertisers are concerned about where's their content going.
Sure. Chrysta Castañeda, thank you so much for joining us on Memphis Morning News. We've enjoyed having you. Have a great day.
Thanks.